Hey everybody, this is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong, and I'm just really waking up on Saturday morning, have my coffee, and I love this little coffee mug. I bought 4 of these and they're all different. Let me show you another one. I have my little coffee maker out here, so I keep coffee mugs and supplies. But I thought I saw something. I'm not fully awake yet. These were at the Dollar Tree, so I got them for $1 a piece, and they were a good brand. And I've seen these sets in larger department stores for a lot more money. Anyway, I thought they were adorable. This morning I am in beautiful Paper Town, and I thought it would be fun to do a journal reading. And I'm also working on getting a lot of listings in the shop this weekend. I want to do so much more with the shop, but I do work full-time during the week, and that's kind of a love-hate relationship. I've talked about this before. I love my benefits. I love the insurance. I love the pay. I love the people I work with. But most of us want to do things that we really love to do as far as art or, what our passion is. That said, I'm really happy to be able to do this so much in my spare time. My children are grown, so I have a lot of playtime, and that's really nice. But I'm going to pick a journal. Let's see. I found an interesting entry, and some of these are brutally honest, so perhaps I'm sharing things that I shouldn't, but this is what journaling can be. And I often go back to this journal. This is the one that I bought when I was in the very early stages of my pregnancy with my firstborn. So I had more time on my hands. Back then, I was an assistant manager in a large clothing store in a mall, and I was going to college and trying to decide. I wanted to be a teacher, and I was in between my associate in arts, which I got from Peace College, and deciding what big university I wanted to go to, if I did go to one. But I was also in love with clothes and textiles. Nobody's surprised at that. And I loved that whole, getting a truckload of merchandise that arrives at the store every week, and you don't know what you're getting, and opening those boxes. I mean, think about how we all are now with our paper and sales and going out and shopping and thrift store hunting and Happy Mail. That was the excitement of being in a store situation like that. But I met we're not together now, sadly, but I met my future husband, and we got married, and everything happened so quickly. My first child was born 9 months and 3 days after we married, so that was a little bit fast and a little surprising. And I never completed my degree to become a teacher. And anyway, I ended up doing medical transcription at home after getting my feet wet out in the actual hospital setting. And I did that so I could be with my children. It would not have been my first choice, but I've been in this industry for so long, and my job has changed through the years. I don't transcribe anymore, but I'm still able to work at home, which I love. So I'm just going to read this. We're just going to read it and see what it says. This is January 26th, 1991, and my second son would arrive the following month. Sometimes I feel like the new baby will never get here. I'm still right at 150 to 153 pounds, but I feel huge. And 4 more weeks seems like a long time, but I know it's not, especially since that was 27 years ago. Wow. Actually, the time has flown by. I can't believe, really, that 8 months have gone by this soon. The last month is slow. It was with Daniel, too. I have a horrible cold right now. That slows things down even more. My voice has been almost totally gone since Tuesday, and I have a hacking cough. Daniel had this first and is now finishing up some erythromycin. So maybe by next weekend we'll all be well. I was so run down from caring for Daniel, I'm sure that's why I got it. Looking back over past entries, it seems that I gained just a few more pounds with Daniel than this one. At 32 weeks with him, I was 150, and at 36 with this one, I'm about 152. Maybe that's only a couple of pounds difference. That sounds more logical to me now. I don't know what I was thinking then. I'm really looking forward to being away from work for a while. I'm not going to name this person's name. We'll just say blank. Blank has been getting on my nerves a lot lately. She can really be downright hateful. I'm not going to name this other person's name either. Blank says she seems evil, and she does seem that way at times, but no one knows the heart of another. We really don't even know our own hearts. I miss having Wanda to talk to. She and Joe are loving it in Wyoming. I don't think they'll move back here anytime soon. Joe got a job on a ranch in South Dakota, and they'll be moving there in March. Wanda said the nearest Walmart is 120 miles, and the local hospital has 3 beds. Can you imagine? Well, some of you probably can if you live out in these places. Wanda was a very dear friend of mine, and we're still really good friends. And we just kind of got married at about the same time and started having our families at about the same time. And we had actually even, I lived with her family for a few months one summer while I was deciding where I wanted to go to school. And that was all a couple of years prior to this. So we were really close friends, and when they up and moved from obviously the East Coast all the way out to Wyoming, I just felt really lonesome for her. She said she didn't really want to work there. She's a nurse. I don't blame her. So she'll be staying home with her baby, and Joe will be working. She said they would be living in an old 2-story house that had more mice than the one they were in before. Daniel is asleep beside me. He is so smart and sweet. He's also independent and very expressive when he's mad. He knows his basic shapes now: triangle, square, circle. He's so cute. He holds up both hands and says real loud and seriously, "A circle have no sides." Oh, I remember that. He has a wonderful memory and shocks me sometimes with it. He thinks the word bra is hilarious. Every time he sees one of mine somewhere, he asks what it is, and when I say the word, he just laughs and laughs. I love him very, very much. I am very grateful for his health and his happy little spirit. The new baby is in my thoughts a lot too. Sometimes I feel guilty because I am not as preoccupied with it as I was with Daniel. I am quieter with it. I actually talked to Daniel and occasionally tried to convey my thoughts to him. This baby has the hiccups a lot, and since my uterine walls are thinner now, I feel it much more. It's a little distracting at times, but I try to be thankful to feel the baby move. My stomach is the biggest part of me now. It's about 40 inches. My hips are 39 inches. All of my family still thinks I'm smaller in the face and arms than with Daniel. I hope for this baby to be healthy and normal, and I worry because I've been so emotional this pregnancy. I have cried so much and been too stressed. Working 40 hours a week with a small child at night makes it harder to be pregnant. I still love it though, and I want to do my best for the whole family. Well, I need to pray and get to sleep. It's almost 11 p.m. Thomas is over at Steve's. Hopefully he'll be home soon. Skipper barked. That was our little dog, Skipper. Skipper barked a little while ago. I wonder why. You can see there's a lot of emotion in that, and I'm sharing something really personal in that. I still like to convey to other people who journal, especially younger people, to write things down, because I would not have remembered all of that. And we have vague memories, but journaling, it brings it back in such a real way. And for the most part, I tried to be really, really positive in everything I wrote. I didn't document every little argument. I didn't document things that I felt like needed to just be forgotten and moved on from. Now, there have been times that I have documented things when I wanted to just prove to myself, or maybe teach myself, is it me having a bad attitude, or am I really seeing something? Like maybe with a child's behavior, just starting to notice things that were happening and taking note and saying, well, even though I think I will remember what he or she did in 3 or 4 days, I won't. And it might happen 4 times and I would only remember 3. Or maybe I would be overbearing and think that something had happened every day and really it was just a couple of times and I was having the problem. So journaling can be a really good, it can be a record, and even a legal record if you need it. But that's not the point. The point was just to share a very special time in my life, in my journal. So from here, I want to talk to you about some sales that are going to be happening this weekend. Everything in my shop is 25% off through Monday night, and I'm going to be busy listing things all weekend, and I'm not going to list them at higher prices to be able to just offer a discount. They will be the regular prices. For instance, my I don't have a priority envelope in front of me, but my big priority envelope packs that are normally $15, they're on sale right now, and you can see all the stuff out here. In fact, let me show you something. This is paper and ephemera and cards and books, and there's another box back there that's the same, and there's more in my dining room. So the paper packs that I list, the ephemera packs, and I probably need to work on that listing. I also have, textile things like fabric and ribbons, trims, so I might be able to offer a couple of choices, like if you want fabric included in your sample pack or your big grab bag, as I call it. I probably should think about making that an option. If anybody catches this video and wants to comment on what kind of packages you would like to see, please let me know. I'm I guess a supplier for junk journals, and I also make them. So, we all have our different things that we offer with these shops, and like I said, I've been journaling for years and collecting things for years, and I went from having an actual retail store where I sold all of this, but it also included clothing and household items. So, I had sections of books and vintage cards, postcards, paper. I even sold my journals in my shop, and one of my favorites was a little cat journal that I had made. And talk about cat journals, let me show you this. This basket is full of ephemera and paper related to cats. So I've got to do another cat journal. Anyway, I know I've shared this before, but the property that my shop was on, and I need to share some pictures sometime of my shop. It was adorable. It was in a vintage railroad caboose. So we're talking a red caboose like you see in the children's storybooks, and they had attached steps going up onto the little platform where the person might be at the back waving. That was the entrance to my shop. So you literally walk up onto this wonderful platform and go in, and it was much like in here. I had little twinkly lights everywhere, racks of vintage clothing, a lot of hats, and I recently sold about 50 hats it was the hats that I had kept after I closed the shop. I sold them for a very, very low price to a nursing home because the director there felt like that would be something fun for the ladies to do when they have their teas or when they craft or whatever. And I was very proud to be able to do that. Didn't really make any money on that sale, but I felt good about getting all of 50 hat boxes takes up a lot of space. So I was glad to get that out. But the shop was it was kind of magical, and I loved being in there. But it was on a piece of property that has been under contract and under negotiations for about 2 years. And it affected traffic, it affected sales. You know, people would start thinking we weren't there anymore, that, you know, the sale had gone through, because there was a lot of, you know, they have these big town meetings in a little town like that, and some people don't want that place torn down and paved over, and some people do, and the owners might want to only sell part of it, or they might want to sell all of it, is what I meant to say, and somebody wants to buy just part of it. So it was just, I finally was really over that part of that whole experience, and I felt like I just learned a ton of information about running a business, margin, and still offer good prices, how to love what you're doing, not get burned out, record keeping, because taxes are huge, and especially when you have a retail shop. Anyway, I'm kind of getting sidetracked, but what I did, and that was the name of my shop, it was called Sidetracked because it was that caboose just sitting there on the rails. What I'm getting at, though, is that when I left there, I knew that I was going to really focus on something with my Etsy shop, and I knew it would be one thing. I had looked at a lot of marketing videos and was reading a lot about marketing, and I've done that off and on through the years, but I thought this has got to be serious. I'm either going to be serious about it or I'm not going to do it. So I decided just to focus on what I loved the most, and that was the paper. And of course the fabric goes along with the journals. So here we are, and I am giving as much time as I can to building the shop and building a community and just trying to provide what people want to create their journals. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get busy. I'm going to enjoy my little shop, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to everyone who has served and everyone who is serving. Both of my parents were in the Air Force. My sister was in the Air Force. A lot of people. I could keep naming people. Yeah, so I'll stop there, but I came from a very, very devoted military family, and I appreciate the service so much because I've seen what it can do. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. My first real clear memory of him was hearing his voice come home to me on an old reel-to-reel tape, and he was telling me that he loved me. And I'm sure there was a part of him that was afraid he would never come home. But the Beatles music was playing in the background, the song Yesterday. All my troubles seemed so far away. And then another clear memory was him coming home, and he got out at that point. He had done, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 tours in Vietnam, and I'm so fortunate that he made it home because I had a little classmate in first grade, and her dad did not make it home, and I still think about her on a regular basis because I remember when our teacher announced to us to be especially kind to Stephanie because of her dad, and that's a memory that doesn't leave you. So I do remember thinking that it was pretty amazing that my dad was coming home. I couldn't quite process that, and I still don't, in a way. But if you feel inclined to leave comments here, and they don't have to be right now, but when you come across this, I would love to know what you would like to see in my shop. If you've ordered things from me and you thought, well, this package was great, but I could have done without this, or I would have liked more of this, please let me know. I'm working on some journals this weekend and some ephemera packs. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.